I said to her, I said, I didn't want you to go another minute not knowing I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you.
Oh, so you knew
I
something.
knew I was done being single at that moment.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. With us today is not just Treva, one of our favorite guests, of course, but she's here with her hubby, Robby. Treva, Robby, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you so much. We love being with you. You know that.
We have so much history now. This is really fun. We've had you guys on before, and oh my goodness, thousands and thousands of views and comments. We might touch on a few because they're actually really funny. You're a motivational, inspirational couple. You met after 50, and both of you have never been married, and neither one of you had kids. Let's start with you, Treva. You wrote a whole book about it right here, Done Being Single. Where were you? Take our viewers into your state of mind at that time.
Well, let's see. I was right at the end of 49. I was going through a breakup. This was a few months before I turned 50. I was burned out, beaten down, and I was done. It was right before the holidays, and I managed to get through them, and I was not happy. I was in a really bad place, having not gotten married, not had kids. I felt like a failure. And I thought, well, I'm never getting married, so I think I'll have a big 50th birthday, invite a ton of people because I'm not ever going to have a wedding. And I did. I rented out a karaoke place and invited a ton of people, including Robby, whom I had met on Facebook because we went to the same high school, not the same year, but had a lot of mutual friends.
I'm much older.
Those mutual friends, one of those mutual friends kind of inadvertently, not at all intentionally, brought us together, or we got on each other's maps, so to speak, or radars, so to speak.
Well, you describe a state of mind, of course, that so many of our viewers can identify with. They've given up on love. It's I'm done. I never want to do this again. I'm sick and tired. And then voila. Now, Robby, where were you at that time? We don't really know your backstory.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Hey.
I was 50, 55, 56 years old. And I, always get asked the question, how come you're not married? What's the matter with you? What's wrong with you? As many single guys probably do that are in their 50s. And my only answer was always, I haven't met her yet. So I never had the expectation I'm going to meet somebody and I need to do this and it has to happen at this point in my life or else I consider myself a failure. No, it wasn't that at all. I wasn't looking, but I am always online and I'm on Facebook and I'm seeing my friends and seeing what they're doing. You sent me a Facebook message inviting me to a party that you were having.
Okay, right. Okay. So my birthday party, the 50th.
She did a cold invite on Facebook. I'm skipping over
the 50th birthday.
I got there a little early. She greets me with a tray of tequila shots that she was going to have to everybody. And I said, what's everybody else going to drink? So I don't know. So that's how that.
Okay. Anyway, long story short. Okay. We go on a date the following week, 6 months later, we got engaged. So I think the takeaway here is that for me, at least in hearing Robby tell his side of it is that, you never know where you're going to find love. You never know. It does. I'm sorry. I know people do not like to hear this, but yes, it happens when you least expect it. It can, and I'm not saying it doesn't require effort and work. And yes, it does. Okay. But the truth is that neither one of us were really looking. I mean, we were open to it. I think that's what made it so sort of organic. Is that at least I was kind of coming out of a tough situation. I came out of it a different person. I came out of it less anxious and angst-ridden, I was able to, something happened. I turned a corner and I let go. And I kind of, made peace. I made peace with being single. I figured, shit, I'm 50, right? I'm 50. It's over. It's done. I'm never getting married. And there was something kind of powerful. Would you please let me tell my inspiring story? I get how people dating can really grind you down. Okay. Especially today's version of it. You know, we all need to sort of keep hope alive, which I did, but it was more of a just opening of a space to let it happen naturally.
Yeah, I mean, I think you both were still open and looking, you know,
For
just
sure.
just in a different way. What I find interesting, Treva, you and I are very much alike, is we sort of are the anxious attachment type, where Robby is not, and Paul certainly isn't. They're not, I won't say avoidant, but certainly more secure, but not us, you know. And it brings up a lot of stuff that can actually stand in the way of meeting someone. So that's one thing I wanted to say. The other is, when we were on before, and this is so funny, there were so many comments about your guys' interaction, about how do these two not get along, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's really, really funny. And I know you two, I know how you get along. So I'm just laughing at all this and just having our conversation right now. It's just, it's hysterical. And for our audience, you just had your 10th anniversary, I think.
Coming up
In May. Okay. So this is coming up, 10 years coming up. So my question is to you, Robby. You weren't, you know, occupied, you know, perhaps like we were, about wanting to find the right one. How did you know Treva was, though? Because you kept saying that I'm looking for the right, or I'll know when I see her, or something like that.
That's the unknown thing that happens, I think, when two people connect, when there's chemistry. And I just realized that I'm done looking. When I was with Treva, I don't think I could do better. And now, though, I feel there's opportunities, but my goodness. But no, but
you know what? I want to follow up. Let me do a follow up really fast, because you said chemistry, and of course, chemistry is important. But the way you two described meeting, it wasn't a spark. When did you know you really wanted Robby in your life?
At my birthday party. It was at a karaoke bar, and I was up there just, you know, 3 sheets to the wind.
And I didn't know many people at
and
this party.
My parents were there, and my father was sitting kind of down below a little bit. You know, I was up on a stage, and I looked down and I see Robby sitting with my father, and I thought, oh my God, now that's a smart guy. I didn't know him, but I just thought, yeah, he found my dad. That's kind of it was one of many signs that I saw along the way. The first date was obviously substantial. We got to know each other, and it continued. And it continued in a way that was no pressure, because I'd taken it off the table. I took marriage off the table, and I just allowed it just to happen. And I allowed me to be me. And just to kind of see how this unfolded with zero expectations. Let's just have fun. I mean, now sort of, you know, later on when he proposed, again, the proposal happened in such a sort of unexpected, organic way. And when he said, will you marry me? I was so used to being single. And I was so used to being disappointed and things ending at a certain time, right?
You thought I was going to break up with you.
He's saying these words to me, and I would not believe it. And not only did I not believe it, I got this wave of fear came over me, because I thought, oh, this is not good. This is ending right now. It's going to end. And
like, he wants to talk about the relationship.
Right. Well, I was just so afraid. We built something really nice.
We were also talking about moving in together. Why are you have your apartment in Beverly Hills, and I'm living downtown? You know, we're spending all this money on rent. Why can't we live together? And Treva said, no, I'm not doing that.
And I said to him, you know, we don't have to get married. We could just keep going the way we're going, because it's going good. Why, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And
he persisted. And again, he asked, and then one more time he asked.
Wait, I did?
And then, yes,
yeah, I want to know what. Yeah,
wait a second. How many times do you think I asked?
You asked twice. You asked
what?
Because I said what? And then you said,
well,
will you marry me?
No, because you didn't believe. You thought I was joking. But
right, I couldn't believe.
The point here is that we're on my couch. We're in my living room of my loft, and we were talking about, you know, I can't do that unless I have a firm commitment. I'm not going to move in. I'm not going to do anything like that unless I'm married. And I said, excuse me one second. And I got up, and I had my mom's jewelry that was
Oh.
kind of left with me after she passed. And I found it, and I came back, and I got on my knee,
Yeah,
and
yes.
I
And he
proposed.
asked, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't hear the words. They were foreign to me.
You know, she said, what, huh? And I said, I didn't want you to go another minute not knowing I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you.
Oh, so you knew, I mean, there was
I knew
something
I
there.
was I was I was done being single at that moment.
Mhm.
I was confident. Uh, didn't even think about what her answer might be. You know, it never crossed my mind that it would be a no.
Look at you. You bring up so many things that we have discussed on various segments, what to do, what not to do with your state of mind, etc. So many people, as we said, are just so discouraged, mostly because of what's going on with online dating, etc. Everybody wants to meet in real life, sort of how you guys did, although it was an online connection. See, this is where the online stuff was really helpful to bring you two together. The other thing, and you and I, Trevor, have talked about this, is that what our online culture does, it promotes you to keep looking. When do you know that somebody is right? That's why I was kind of getting at how did you two, who were single all your life, what was your line of thinking there?
Go ahead.
Robbie, go ahead.
If this is getting to the close, I better start, because otherwise
I don't
she's
talk as
gonna.
much as you do.
Oh, really?
No, I cut to it. So let me just,
Please do.
shall I? That is a great question, first of all. And because it brings in a lot of different elements of timing. It does have a lot to do with where you are. I always say right time, right place, and right state of mind.
Mhm.
Being in the right mind to be able to see it and recognize it and accept it. And I think those all kind of came into play and made it happen. And also Robbie just stepped up and was the man that I really kind of was always looking for. He cut through the clutter, as I'd like to say. He presented himself as a different kind of guy. He was serious. He had intentions. He was direct. He wasn't playing games. He was all in. He was honest. I liked all that. He didn't have an agenda. He wasn't driving with the brakes on.
I like
And
that.
that really meant something to me. But with that said, I think I also had just arrived at a certain point in my life where, yes, I was also done being single, but I also I worked on myself, and I got myself to a point where I could be able to recognize greatness. And that's our story. Take it away.
I think there comes a point where you have to realize when good enough is good enough, or when good enough is great enough. And can I do better? Maybe, maybe not. Do I want to keep looking? Is there something out there that is going to check more boxes than what Treva has checked with me? And that really didn't cross my mind, because I was just happy with her. And being happy registers. I didn't have to think about it. It was natural. This is what I wanted to do. This is who I wanted to do it with. And everything else just happened completely organically and naturally.
I do think, though, that at a certain age, you do doing a little, evaluation or assessment, and asking yourself. I mean, I could keep going on searching and searching and searching, right? I mean, there's countless. This is what online dating does to us. It's the illusion of choice. It's this endless, menu of options, which, my God, I mean, at some point, how long are you going to keep looking? Especially you get to a certain age and you know who you are, you know what you're looking for, right?
And I think that also brings up the issue of, if this person checks off, 50, 70% of whatever it is, I might find somebody with 75%. And you're okay, but I have a date tomorrow night with somebody else. It's going to be, and also that person just goes more in the rearview mirror. and you're constantly moving on. It's a kid in a candy store type mentality.
I think that constantly seeking mentality has most to do with one's I don't want to say discomfort or dissatisfaction. There's something in you that feels that, it's not enough.
There's
It's
always
not
something
enough.
better.
To me, and to me, the whole idea of pickiness, which I think you and I have talked about, we've definitely done some episodes on pickiness, is really kind of a projection of what's missing in you, or what you perceive to be missing in you, and therefore you try to find it in other people. And I think it's projection. So, we could go on and on about this stuff. So also
Robby, what you said, that you felt happy. And I think that's one of the key takeaways is, how does this person in front of me, this person who I'm spending, how do they make me feel? Am I anxious? Do I have to be someone I'm not? Do I feel like I'm constantly being judged? It sounds to me like for both of you, that was off the table. You didn't have
that was a huge part of this. And what continues to make it work is that I could be who I was. And I didn't know that feeling, because I had always been dating and trying to be something that I thought that the guy wanted, I mean, it's like being auditioning constantly.
Yes.
It's exhausting. You can never be yourself. And I was able to be myself with Robby.
Yeah, what you brought out, and that I can relate to, and I'm wondering if some of our viewers can, is like when Paul and I met, and we met online on Match. So we are, sort of a Match success story. However, it wasn't like this instant chemistry and then we were together. It was more dates and more time, whatever. But what you said, Treva, is that I could be myself, and I could be myself around him, especially at the beginning, because I didn't care which way it went. And so when it did, it was organic. It wasn't that I'm trying to be somebody. I could be myself.
I have a question for Treva.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you yourself?
Absolutely.
Oh, really? You were not who you thought I wanted you to be?
No.
At first?
No way. I was me from day one.
Why would you ask that, Robby?
Yeah, why do you ask that?
Because I think that it was so ingrained in her, just like she said, that she was always trying to be the person the guy wanted her to be, as opposed to who she wanted to be. So why would I be any different in that next step of next guy that she dated?
That's conditioning. That's
okay. Exactly.
That's from like a lot of disappointment, right? Where you have enough of that and you're conditioned. It's like Pavlovian.
Okay, you bring up another good point. We bring stuff to the table, and we put our past or bad experience or whatever on this other person when nothing has happened.
So true.
Correct. So yes, old habits die hard. Is that the saying? Old habits die hard.
Yeah.
Yes. This relationship, this done being single, this meeting later in life, when you have so much you're bringing to the table, is a challenge. And what I absolutely love about your relationship is that, against all odds, you make this work in such a unique way. What else would you add before we close here? What haven't I asked? What would our viewers really benefit from?
I think acceptance goes a long way. Self-acceptance. When you're able to make peace with who you are, who you've become, right? It's so important, because it adds another layer of attractiveness onto you, I think, especially over a certain age. There's a lot to be proud of, even the baggage. Chances are you're dating someone around your same age, right? So who hasn't had some shit happen, right? There's some real value in dating at this age. Really, like, we are lucky. We actually, dated a time before apps where people could look at each other, make eye contact and smile. We know how to do it. We know this.
What about you, Robby?
I find, and I kind of try to live this, is that honesty is the best policy. People need to be honest in their profiles. People need to be honest with who they are. With what they're seeking, what they're filtering, and portraying yourself as who you really are, not necessarily who you want to be,
That's a
or who
great
you
point.
want a person to see you as. It's a very simple thing, but I think it's probably very difficult for a lot of people to adhere to.
I'd love to do a live show with you guys when we start doing that, Treva. That would be fun. Let people ask questions directly. I
Oh, we
have
love
so
that.
many.
Oh my God, I
We
love
bring
that.
bring it on. I think there's real value in having a male and female perspective in this.
Absolutely.
Because, you guys always talk amongst yourselves.
Girl talk.
It's girl talk. And do you have a lot of guys?
Yes.
You
Fifty
chime in?
percent.
Fun.
We
All right.
now, in our defense, Robby, yes, we do. We have, Treva and I. Obviously, we're both women, but for as second act TV, we have men on all the time for the male perspective. I absolutely agree with you. We have to have the male perspective, and every
Yes.
now and then I have couples on like you, and it's always so much fun. It's so
Oh,
much
great.
fun.
Okay.
I really
I think
appreciate
that interests me because I enjoy this. This is fun, and I think we both have a wealth of knowledge to impart. So,
Exactly. And you have been imparting it on your podcast, Done Being Single with Treva and Robby. Make sure you tune into that. You've had some great guests, some great time. You don't stay away, from any topics. You are, as you say, Robby, very honest in your approach. We know that about Treva. So I will link to all of your information, to your podcast, to your book. And I look so forward to having you back soon on Second Act TV.
love you.
Thank you. Love you so much.